Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy fall. Happy Wednesday.
Is it fall?
Actually, I don't think it is. I think it's like at the end of, it might be the day after this comes out.
We love fall.
Yeah, it is, because I think the first day of fall is the 22nd, and this comes out on the 21st.
Yay. Happy fall. So, yeah. It's fall, y'all. Yay.
It is.
Fall's my favorite time of year.
Yeah, me too, I think.
I love it.
Because, spring is nice, too, because it's the same kind of temperatures, but it's getting, humid.
Mm-hmm. She's wet. Part. Spring is a little wet.
Yeah. And then fall is, the good temperatures and, a little bit less of the water. But still, it did rain the other day. But anyway.
Yeah, that's facts. I personally, summer and fall are my faves. I really hate spring and winter. With a burning passion. So, anyways. I
actually started decorating for fall today, so
we love that.
We're getting prepared. I
saw you put a pumpkin out. I can't wait to carve a pumpkin.
Yes. I think I've carved a pumpkin one time before.
What?
We never really do it.
In your life?
Yeah, I've painted them before, a bunch, but
that's so weird, Savannah. That is so weird. I am so sorry. No, I've painted them too. But carving them is just so much more fun. Because it feels, that sounds a little, I was going to say, because it feels like you're stabbing something, because you are. But it's fun. I don't know. It's so fun. But it's really also really hard to make it look good. So.
Yeah.
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 Well, anyways. So I know last week, if you guys listened to the last episode, I was talking about we're going to tell you about Mothman, but I forgot that we record early. Our timelines aren't exactly matching up. As you're hearing this, I am past Taylor. So next week, we will tell you how Mothman Festival goes. So I'm super excited to go.
I know, me too. I'm hoping we can get we're gonna try to get a good video, so we can put something up on YouTube.
Yes.
And just get out there and
vibe.
I don't know, have fun. yeah, vibe.
And also, I'm gonna try to find Mothman. Can't forget about that.
Obviously. The whole point.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have any other intro topics to go into.
Yeah. So I can get into my story.
Let's do it.
I do have a little thing before I get started. I've been rewatching some Supernatural a little bit.
Okay.
I don't think you've watched it, have you?
Not all the way through. I've seen episodes.
Okay. I used to be a little bit obsessed with Supernatural. So I was one of those people. But I rewatched some episodes, including the first one, and that one was about a lady in white.
Ooh.
We've covered those, and those are sort of popular, in different cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually have a story of a lady in white today.
Oh,
so
okay.
Just thought I'd bring that up.
I'm excited. So, your story was inspired by Supernatural, is what you're saying.
Well, it kind of was, but as an afterthought, so not really. But we'll say it was.
I'm giving credit to is his name Dean?
Mm-hmm.
See, look at me. Yep. I'm a true fan.
Okay, so this story is the White Lady of the Castle of Duino. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Italian, so
Yeah.
So White Lady, it refers to a woman in white, but also her complexion, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she's super pale. And this story takes place at the castle of Duino, like I said before, and it's about there's a noblewoman and a lord who lived there, in like medieval times. And this castle, it was on a cliff over the water, so very beautiful, but like I guess kind of dangerous because, you know, it's over a cliff. And it's in Italy in the Gulf of Trieste, which, do you know where that is?
I don't even know why you asked me that question. No.
Yeah, see, I didn't know where it was either, so I looked it up, because, you know, we're really bad at geography, so if anybody else out there who is bad at geography, I'll sort of describe it, because I can picture the map of Italy. It's sort of like on the right side of the boot, like at the top.
Okay,
little,
got it.
where there's like
Where the calf would
there's
go.
a little gulf.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. There's, yeah. And it's near Croatia.
Okay, cool.
Which, that probably won't help you.
Not
but
at all.
maybe it'll help someone out there. So, that's sort of where it is, in a gulf. And in this area, there's actually 2 castles now. There's, like, the old one, which is where this story takes place. But that one right now is in ruins, basically. It's
Okay.
like all, yeah, it's like all like just stone that like looks sort of like a castle, but like one that has not been kept up with at all, and it's falling apart. And you can go and see it, but it's just definitely not what it once was.
For sure.
And then there's the other Duino castle, the one that was built later, and it has been kept up with, and you can go and visit this one inside and everything, and it's like really beautiful. I saw pictures and stuff, and it looks like what you would think a castle is. So
I want to go.
no, I know, I kind of do too. But the old one was built in the 11th century, so that one's super old.
Wow,
and
that's
then
really
the
old.
new one, yeah, but the new one was built in the 14th century, so it's like still a long time ago.
Wow, that is crazy. I can't even. That's like the 1300s. Isn't that right? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but somehow it's been like kept up with since then. So, I mean, I
Props
guess
to
a lot
them.
of buildings in Europe are.
You know, that's very true. But that's just like crazy. The architecture. Wow.
I know, and in America, we're like not used to buildings being that old.
No.
Because, you know, we didn't build a lot of our stuff until, you know, the 1700s, 1800s. So, you know, it's just not, it's unheard of. But
Definitely.
I think a lot of stuff in Europe is this old.
No, it definitely
So
is.
it's like not, yeah, like it's not as shocking as it is to us. Okay, but anyways, back to the story. So like I said, there are nobles who lived here. The noblewoman, so there's no real names in this story. So we'll just say like the woman and her husband, you know.
Yeah.
So she loved her husband like with all of her heart. She loved him so much. But he did not seem to love her as much as she loved him,
Rude.
sadly. Yeah, this guy is like the worst, honestly. The more I describe him, you're going to be like, what is this trash? So he thought that she was cheating on her and would always like insult her and just say like, why are you like, I know you're running off with all these guys behind my back, and basically saying stuff like that. And just accuse her of all these like awful things that she just wasn't doing.
That's
So
awful.
yeah, like a really bad person. But she was still like, I love you anyway. It's like, what?
No, girl. No.
I know. So she did not ever actually cheat or anything, even though a lot of the men around town tried to get her to, almost.
No. What? Are you kidding
Just
me?
because,
They're all disgusting.
I mean, kind of, but like they were basically like, leave this man, like he's the worst.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ashley should have, but.
You know, see?
Yeah.
So, and she's like attractive, so they're like, you know, you're pretty, like why don't you come with me instead of him, like he's awful. But she was really faithful, so she's like, no, I need to stay with my husband, I can change him. So she was like that stereotype of like, I can change him, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, we know that stereotype.
So, yeah, like everybody trying to get her to leave, like, didn't work. And she even like ended up giving birth to his child, but he would still not stop with like all the insults and everything
Oh,
and like hating her. It's like, I don't like, why do you have to hate your wife
what's
so
the
much?
purpose? Like, what was he going
Right.
for?
I don't know. He just, see, I don't get people like men who hate their wives, because it's like most of the time you picked your wife,
Right, right.
so why do you like, and you hate her this much?
Literally. Make it make sense.
Yeah, I just don't get it. So one night he came home and got into a fight with her over something that like she didn't even do, but was just like fighting with her over
Of
it.
course.
And he ends up luring her outside and pushing her off the cliff
I knew you were going to say that.
of the castle.
Man.
Yeah. So she didn't know what was going on until she was pushed, and she's like, oh my god, he really just did this.
Oh my
So
God.
as she's falling down towards the water below, she is like crying out for help and looking towards, the story said like she's looking towards the heavens and like trying to call out to the gods and stuff. So God took pity on her and turned her into a rock right before she hit the water.
Okay.
Yeah. So today there's a rock at the bottom of the cliff under the old castle, that looks like a curled up woman wrapped in a veil.
No way.
And that's this woman.
No way.
See, and I saw the picture of this,
I was going to ask if there was
supposed
one.
rock. And I can kind of see how you can get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I'll say. I'll post it and you can see.
Okay.
Maybe I should have had it ready so I could have sent it to you right now.
Yeah, I know, it's
to
fine.
get your reaction.
I really can't imagine it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like they say like, oh, it looks like she's curled up and there's just something over her. So it's basically just like a lumpy rock. You know?
I'm like picturing the mountain from Moana.
Yeah, sort of, but she's not like laying down. I think more like sitting curled up, you know?
Okay. Now I can't picture it, but just check out our Instagram and the picture will be there.
Yeah, I'll have it up. Okay, so there are some variations to this story.
Oh.
So the next story that the next one that like people sort of go to is basically the same story, but there's like some slight changes. So the woman in this like other version of the story has a name, and I really hope I can say this right because I didn't look up how to pronounce it.
Oh, no.
But her name is Esterina de Portol.
That's a really pretty name.
Yeah, it is Esterina.
Love it.
And she had a really fair complexion, so she was given the nickname the White Lady.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where that part of it comes from. And there's no proof really to say if she was a real person or not, but, she was just given this name in the story. But basically, she has a jealous husband as well, and in her version of the story, she got thrown off of the cliff in a rage, instead of like in the other story it seemed like he sort of planned it by luring her outside.
Yeah.
And then this one's more of like a rage. So yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And then there is another version of the story that is like way more romantic. And I think I like this one the best.
Oh.
So, in this version, there is a young princess named Duino, and she is 13.
Oh, she's such a baby.
I know. I feel like a lot of stories back in the day were like all these kids, you know?
No, 100%. Like, all old stories are literal children. Most of them.
Maybe it's because like, is it because like life expectancy was so much lower?
That's
or
most definitely. Most definitely.
you had to start your life way earlier.
Yeah. You were an adult at like 12. For real.
Yeah, exactly. So she was 13, and they said that she had eyes, green eyes that looked like the sea. So she was beautiful. And she fell in love with a boy named Rain, who was 15.
Oh, I love that name too.
And he was from, yeah, it's Rein.
Love that.
Not, yeah, so I like that name. A boy from the fishing village below the castle. And since she was a princess and her father was the king, he did not want her to be with this boy.
Typical.
Because he was just like a common fisherman.
Yeah, he was like, no poor people in this king family.
No, exactly.
Typical royal families.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This like is such a common trope. So the king, because he didn't like him, he told the boy to ride out to sea on his little fishing boat during a bad storm that was going on.
Okay, that's already bad.
So, yeah, pretty bad. So he did it because he's like, I'm not going to disobey the king, you know? I'll go out.
No, of course he could not.
And then Duino, she waited for him for a few days, and he didn't return.
No.
Yeah. So then she went down to the rocks below the castle to wait for him, and she waited and waited so long that she sort of melded into the rocks.
Oh, that's giving Hunger Games.
Yeah, I guess it is. But she ended up becoming a rock herself.
I see. I do like this one better.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, all of these stories are sort of like just trying to tell how this weird looking rock got there.
Yeah, honestly, when you said that she turned into a rock the first time, even then I was thinking it's giving Hunger Games, but that third one really was Hunger Games.
So yeah, I don't know. I like the last story the best, but I do have some more to this story because the castle is haunted.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah.
Probably by like a really angry woman who was either killed or died waiting.
Yeah, well, not really angry. People have seen a candlestick wandering around the castle at night when no one's there.
That's not creepy at all.
Mm-hmm. And they say that she is, if it's like the woman from the first story, she's searching for her child every night so she can hold them and tell them everything's going to be okay, which is so sad.
So sad.
And, you know, if it's the other girl, Duino, then she's walking around the castle looking for her boy, Rain, her man. And it's said that she appears during the witching hour and appears and disappears 3 different times in the night. Yeah. So I don't know if that's just like made up to make this story scarier.
Right.
Or like, because it's like the witching hour and then 3 times, you know? And then in the morning, she is full of grief and turns back into stone. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. I know you said like the one castle is like still up and running. Can you like stay the night there?
not sure.
I just wonder,
actually.
like, how these people know that she's up and out and about at 3 a.m.
I don't know. I mean, I guess people just like wander around.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's very true. Especially
like that
around
happens
there.
at every haunted place, right? Like,
100%.
People go and investigate.
Yeah.
Also, like, the more I am reading about this, like, this third time I'm going through these notes and stuff, but I'm like, I don't know if this is the old castle or the newer one, because
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Like, I thought at first when I was starting to do this research that it was the older castle, but it sounds like it could be the other one too, because they're both pretty old.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Plus, I feel like it would say something like she's walking around, like, the other one doesn't have halls because it's, like, ruins, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be the new one. That's what I was assuming. The new one, quote unquote, like the 1400s one instead of
century.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, it's a mystery. It's fine. We don't need to know which castle it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's a mystery and a legend in one.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I like that story. It's like a little the last one I told. That one's a little bit more like Shakespearean. You know?
Very Shakespearean.
A little bit Romeo and Juliet.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I hope that one's the truth and not the other ones, because that's really sad.
That's what I'm gonna choose to believe.
Same.
Even though they're all pretty sad, but
yeah, no. Regardless, it's sad.
Yeah.
But, well, that was cute. Yeah. Cute. I say that was cute as if somebody didn't literally die, but it was just, you know.
Yeah. In all three stories, somebody died, but you know, it's still cute.
At least one person. But like, I don't know. I just like a good castle story.
Yeah. That's true. It's true.
I don't know. Something about castles. They're just magical, man. I don't know. But what's funny is that you were like, oh, this one is like a mystery and a legend. Well, let me tell you what. Mine is a mystery, myth, legend. Anything you can possibly think of under the sun, we got it this week for you. I'm not kidding.
I'm excited for this.
Yes. So
they're aliens?
Yep. Sure are.
Oh my God,
literally
cryptids?
telling you. Yep. Everything. No, literally everything.
Oh my God.
So, this week for you, I have the legend of Mount Shasta. Dun, dun, dun. It just sounds like a soda to me, personally. But
okay, it kind of does. But I think I've heard of this before, but I haven't. Like, I don't know the story of it.
I don't even know how I found it. I just did, and it's literally crazy. So, yeah,
I'm excited.
Anyways, so Mount Shasta is a very large mountain in Northern California. It's just north of Redding, California. And so the mountain stands at a very tall 14,179 feet. And that actually makes it the 5th tallest in California. So she is very tall. Also, like if you like a mountain is above 14,000 feet, it's like called a 14er, in case you didn't know.
Oh, wow.
And I hiked a 14er, and that's when I got altitude sickness. So it wasn't fun. So
yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I probably would too.
Yeah, I would.
Because like
it's a lot. There's like no air to breathe.
See, like I get shortness of breath like at sea level sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I live below sea level, so me going from 0 to literally 14,000 was a little too much for me.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So yeah. So anyway, back to Mount Shasta. I know it's, I've been calling it a mountain and it's called Mount, but it's actually an ice-topped volcano.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's a mountain and a volcano.
Okay. Aren't all volcanoes mountains?
Yeah. That's why I just wanted to clarify in case people didn't know. Okay. All mountain. No, see, I almost said it backwards already. All volcanoes are mountains, but not all mountains are volcanoes. But Mount Shasta is in fact a volcano. Also, I just wanted to point out that Wikipedia literally said that, quote, okay, Mount Shasta is known to be the main subject of many mysteries, myths, and legends. LOL. So
Oh my god,
I just had to really shout that. They shouted us out on Wikipedia, so thanks, Wikipedia. Yeah, so there's so much that I'm about to get into. I just don't even know how to preface it, so let's just dig right on in. How about we? Okay. I am first going to tell you a little bit about the Native American legends of Mount Shasta. According to indigenous tribes, and mostly the Klamath people, Mount Shasta is inhabited by the spirit of an old chief whose name is Chief Skell. And the legend says that Chief Skell descended down from heaven to the mountain's summit. And basically, the second that he descended down from the heavens, he had to fight the spirit of the below world named Lao, who lived on Mount Mazama, which was a mountain really close to Mount Shasta. So basically, imagine a mountain war is what was happening.
Okay.
And so it's said that the spirit of Chief Skell literally went into the mountain itself. So when I say mountain war, imagine the actual mountain is fighting the war. Okay. And so basically this is the Native American way of saying that this volcano erupted. And that's the quote unquote fight that is going on, to make it make a little bit more sense to you.
See, I was just picturing mountains fist fighting or something.
See, I was going to say the mountains, they were fighting by throwing hot lava rocks at each other.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and if you date back to the late 1800s, both mountains / volcanoes did actually erupt at the same time back then. So that's interesting. There was a little mountain fight going on.
So it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's true then.
Yeah. Yeah, it is true. So that's crazy. So that's one legend. There is apparently a lot of what they call mythical significance to this mountain as well. And some people think that it kind of even lives up to Stonehenge and the pyramids, mystery wise or whatever. And so why, you may ask? So, some philosophers seem to think that Mount Shasta is one of the most powerful creations on Earth. And they think it's due to the geological location of where it's at. Okay.
Okay.
And people seem to think that there are some quote unquote power spots that are located around the mountain. And that all is just really weird, but you'll understand in a minute. So in these spots, basically, a lot of weird stuff goes on all the time, and it's in very specific places on the mountain. So that's a little coincidental. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, back in 2011, a 3-year-old boy actually went missing on Mount Shasta. His dad was literally walking right beside him, his family was just, on a little camping trip. The dad looks away for 1 second, and the boy was gone, completely missing, completely gone. Makes no sense. Where could he have gone in 5 seconds that he wasn't looking?
Yeah, because that really doesn't make any sense.
No.
If somebody...
No, did he fall down a hole or something? Maybe. But,
somebody must have... my mind immediately goes to, kidnapping, but, somebody must have had to hide in the trees and,
Yeah, but, you would have got him and them,
Yeah, and then you would have seen them trying to get away.
Exactly. So my mind thinks, okay, maybe this baby fell in a hole. I don't know. That's just what... Right. But who knows? But the dad couldn't find him. So obviously he goes, calls people, gets people to come out there and, or they perform a search. And so 5 hours go by, and suddenly this boy appears in the same spot that he went missing.
What?
Yeah. They were looking around the area, but that's where they found him. He just started crying out.
Who's alien abducted?
So, yeah, right? And so, obviously, he's only 3, but he can talk a little. Obviously, alien.
Okay, can we just go back to the way I just said that, though? I was alien abducted?
Abducted?
Okay. He was abducted by aliens, is what I meant to say.
Why use more word when few word do trick,
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going for, but...
So anyways, obviously this is a 3-year-old boy. So he has some vocabulary, but it's not extensive, you know. But the police are asking him like, okay, yo, what happened? Like, where did you go? And his explanation was that his grandma came up to him and told him to follow her. But he describes his grandma in not a grandma way. He says that it was a robot version of his grandma.
What?
Okay.
Wait, what?
I know. Okay. He says a robot version of my grandma basically was like, come on, Sonny. And so obviously it's his grandma, or so he thinks. And so he follows her. And he followed her to a cave. Okay. And so he says, I just remember being in the cave. Yeah. And then he kind of like blacks out and then wakes up back where he was. Kind of no time missing. So alien abducted, question mark? I don't know. I don't know.
He probably was. Okay. I don't know if you thought about this.
Okay.
But what if it wasn't actually his grandma, and the reason he said grandma is because it was like wrinkly.
Ew.
And it looked old, and it's like an alien that's like old, or like look, you know, like compared to humans, they look like. That's
a really good theory.
Right?
However,
like, I don't know.
I have a little bit more to the story that's going to make it even more confusing for you.
Oh, okay.
What's really strange is that now they didn't discover this immediately, like as this is going down. The family, obviously, you know, they go back home. They try to go back to normal life, you know. They're just happy their son is alive. But they found out that the exact same time that all this is going down, this boy's grandma, I personally assumed that meant maybe the grandma is dead. You know, like if he's seeing his grandma, maybe he's seeing a ghost of his grandma. No,
that's what I was.
No, she's alive.
I was ready for you to say that.
She died.
She was dead, and he was seeing a ghost of her.
Yeah, that's what I was preparing myself for. No, she's alive and well. And they found that at the same time that he disappeared, she was just taking a nap, and she claims that she suddenly woke up. And this is apparently like second by second the time that everything is happening with this boy. So she said the reason that she was taking a nap is that because when she woke up that day, she just did not feel good. She said she felt really weirdly emotionless and kind of dizzy. So she was like, you know, let me just take a nap. And so she kind of thought like, she didn't really know what was going on. But when she woke up, she had a puncture wound on the back of her head. So isn't that weird?
Yes. Very, very weird.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that she goes on to just be like, oh, I think it was just a spider bite because my friend got bit by a spider and she like experienced the same thing and it was just like a coincidence. And I'm like, I don't know, ma'am. Is the government paying for you to say that? Because that's a little weird. That's a little weird.
What if her friend also got abducted?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if something was weird had happened? Like the grandma and the boy got abducted at the same time and like they had stuck something in her head. I don't know, man. All I know is that that's weird. Very, very weird situation. So now what's even more strange than just that story in general is that's not the first time that we've heard a story like this. In fact, only a month after that little boy went missing, the same thing happened, except for it was like a 47-year-old man. And let me see. Oh no, I just lost my spot. Okay, so actually it was 3 weeks after the 3-year-old boy incident happened. Okay, a Los Angeles man, 47, was hiking the mountain when he said that he heard a beautiful singing female voice in the woods. Now, P.S.A. If you ever hear singing in the woods, do not walk towards it. Please just go. Please immediately leave.
No, because even if it is just a person singing, like,
creepy.
You're a weirdo.
No,
why are you singing in the woods?
Serial killer. I'm sorry. No, this is not Into the Woods. Get out of the woods. We're not about it.
Unless you're just like singing a trail song, you know, like Girl Scouts, like whatever.
Exactly.
But I don't know. There's like a difference.
It's weird. It's not like by yourself, one person singing in the woods. Like that's just so weird. But anyways, obviously this man doesn't listen to our podcast. So how would he know? So he follows, he follows this singing voice, so far into the woods that he gets lost. And so then he says that he blacks out, like he remembers being lost in the woods, and then he blacks out. And when he woke up in a cave where he was completely naked, and in front of him was a tall female with unnaturally blue eyes and strange clothing. Okay.
What?
And he said that she gave him a gift and secret information, but he never said what those things were. And that man from Los Angeles was lost for 4 weeks before he returned back in the same spot that he got lost at.
What the hell?
Yeah, so that's really weird. And this keeps happening. Countless stories of people being abducted, some being gone for just an hour or two, to some days, to some weeks, like this man. All being abducted is what they say, abducted, quote unquote, by something, waking up in a cave and then going back. So that's really weird. I don't like those vibes.
I'm just speechless. I don't know what is going on here.
Yeah, well, we're only talking about the first thing that's really going on here, because there's so much more going on here.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of move away from that whole thing for a minute. As I said, this is a mystery, a myth, and a legend. So there's literally everything. So we're just going to, shelf that for later. We'll come back. So now moving back a little bit more into the Native American legends. The biggest one, legend from the Native Americans, that has to do with Mount Shasta, is actually centered on a hidden city called Telos. Okay. And so Telos, this city, is supposed to be full of advanced beings from the lost continent of Lemuria. So I know we've mentioned it a couple times on here.
Yes.
For sure. And, it's a long story, but basically the story goes that in numbers, sometimes they're hard. 1899.
Did we ever do a story on that?
I don't remember if we did a full story, but we've definitely talked about it at least before. They've came up before.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
We have almost 100 episodes, guys.
Yeah.
I don't remember what every topic.
I know. I can't remember if we did either, but I do remember hearing about it. So I'm maybe.
For sure. Well, okay. So I know one thing. I was going to say it later, but they are talked about and compared to the Atlanteans. So that's throwing it back all the way to episode 1. If you want to listen to that episode, is where they are first mentioned on our podcast. But basically, the Lemurians are supposed to be an advanced, aliens, basically. Very advanced group of people. As I said, we're throwing it back all the way to 1899. This guy named Frederick Spencer Oliver published a book called A Dweller on Two Planets. And basically this book claims that the survivors from this sunken continent called Lemuria, that basically it had sank into the ocean or into some body of water, and that there were only a few survivors from that planet. And so they had to go somewhere else. And the legend says that the survivors are actually living either in or on Mount Shasta. Okay. So Oliver's book basically explains that the Lemurians live in a complex strand of tunnels under the mountain and can occasionally be seen walking on the mountains, in white robes. So, that's not creepy at all. Not creepy at all.
Okay. Very creepy.
Yeah, and then if you kind of also think back to what I just said about people being abducted, blacking out, and then returning a couple hours or days later, maybe something's going on, So, let's see here. But, okay, also, they do say, apparently seeing them, outside, climbing the mountain in a white robe is very rare. So, but what visitors to this mountain do often see are 7 feet tall creatures with very long flowing hair. walking around the mountain. And, you know, some people could just say maybe this is just a tall person walking around. You know, a tall family, if even. But, you know, I don't know. 7 feet tall, that's pretty tall.
Yeah, and especially for like, so they like live on this mountain?
Well, it said that they live inside. So I was going to get into it. There's allegedly, and it's true, the mountain has tunnels underneath it. And that is confirmed.
Oh.
So it's...
Everything has tunnels.
I know. Everything. Every mountain has tunnels. Yes. Like, tunnels are everywhere.
Well, I was going to say, like, if you're living on a mountain, wouldn't you be, like... Doesn't that make you shorter from the gravity?
Right.
No, that's probably stupid.
No, I don't know. I kind of feel like I agree. I don't know the science behind it, but I would agree. I feel like also living outside, but also if they do live in the mountain, living inside, I feel like that would also stunt your growth. So how could they be 7 feet tall? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. None of them I have the answers for.
I don't know.
Sorry. But to go back to the Lemurians, in case you don't remember our very first episode, how could you? Because, you know, we don't even remember it. So...
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to remember it, but anyways.
That's okay. That's a solid point. But one of the theories of what's going on, about what happened to Atlantis, was that the Lemurian people actually took it over. Because in case you don't remember, over 25,000 years ago, Atlantis and Lemuria were considered the two most highly civilized civilizations on Earth. Okay? And basically, these two groups kept fighting with each other because they wanted to be the smartest. They were like, I'm going to be the smartest. And the other one were like, no, I'm smarter. So they were like, fine, battle time, battle royale. So, and that they, you know, fought to the death to see whoever was like, who should remain on top. And so this is actually where the Mount Shasta legend picks up, because it said like that those who did survive the fight between the Atlanteans and the Lemurians, they decided to together build a new society inside of Mount Shasta. So the legend basically is saying that there is some sort of super race of people living inside of Mount Shasta who are all descendants of the Lemurians from over 12,000 years ago, and that these people still do live inside the mountain. So,
okay. Well,
which that is giving the 100. If you've ever seen that show.
I have not. But that theory is wild to me.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's way more likely that there's aliens.
Well, I think that they're kind of saying that they might be the aliens.
No, but I don't think anyone's living inside the mountain.
Oh, okay. You don't think anybody's inside the mountain? Like, not even the aliens are inside the mountain?
No, I think aliens are coming from where they live.
That's interesting, because I think no matter what is living inside the mountain, I think something is definitely inside the mountain.
I mean,
like whether it be,
maybe I need to. Is there more that's going to convince me?
I don't know if it's going to convince you, but there's more. So, how about I give it to you, and then we make our final decision. So,
yeah.
We're going to move forward a little bit in time to 1904. Where a British prospector named J.C. Brown discovered a lost underground city beneath Mount Shasta. So here's why I said the proof. So he had actually been hired by the Lord Cowdray Mining Company of England to prospect for gold, and while he was doing that, he found a cave that sloped down for 11 miles. So he was like, all right, let's follow it, because this man's trying to find gold. So he's like, perfect, maybe this is a gold tunnel. So he claims that he, went down the tunnel, kept going, and he ended up finding an underground village, which obviously already intrigued him. But then he started finding things like shields at first, which is interesting. And then he started finding pieces of gold. And then he kind of found a lot of gold. And then he started getting to the mummies, the mummified bodies of people.
Oh.
Yeah, and he also reported seeing a 10-foot tall mummified being. So that's interesting, That's huge.
What? What?
Yeah. Yeah. And so actually 30 years pass and this guy still claims that everything in the story is true. But like nobody is ever confirmed or denied, like, is this man telling the truth? And I like, is it the government hiding it? Maybe. Or is this guy crazy? Maybe. I don't know.
Right, because I was gonna say, where are these things?
On the mountain somewhere, allegedly in the mountain.
He just left. So he found the mummies and just left them there.
Yeah. I mean, he wrote about it when he came back out, but like, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what was he supposed to do? Bring him with him up an
I mean, I
11-foot
don't know.
hole?
Could he just like send people, be like, guys, go get these
Well,
for a museum or something?
So I don't know, like, if he got busy or what was going on. Like, I think the man, honestly, here's what I think happened. I think that he just wanted to be rich, and he was trying to find gold. And when he didn't find like naturally occurring gold, obviously, I'm assuming that he thought he found like an old burial ground somewhere. You know, like, oh, this is an old burial ground, not gold. And I feel like that's why he bounced. He was like, this is not where the money is coming from.
Right.
That's what I have to assume. You know, he didn't think it was a big deal because it was like or the early 1900s. You know, they weren't as big on mysteries, myths, and legends back then.
Okay, so he found this stuff and he was just like,
Yeah, like he told some newspapers about it. Nobody
away.
cared. Like, nobody cared. They were like, okay, sounds good, sir.
yeah.
So then we go forward, more in history. It's the 30th anniversary of this event, okay? It's coming up on the 30th year since he found this stuff. And he was like, you know what? He was just telling his old friend is named John. He was telling his old buddy John about this. And they were like, you know what? Maybe I should have investigated that more. And he was like, yeah, dude, I think that's a little bit weird that you didn't. And so they were like, all right, let's get a team together. So they get like a team of like 15 guys that they're like, we're going to go down and we're going to see what's going on. So they all show up that day, on the day that they planned to go, except for JC. He did not show up to find whatever was on there, and he was never heard from again. So because he didn't show up, none of the guys knew where he found this thing, so they didn't find it either. So it's a dead end.
Where did he go?
Nobody knows where he went. Nobody knows. So that's also he up and vanished. Thin air, baby. No idea.
He was taken.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. I think he was taken.
He's taken, so then nobody could find it.
Yeah. So, moving along from that, as you can imagine, with everything else that I've already said is going on here, there have also been thousands upon thousands of UFO sightings. So the latest biggest claim of a UFO sighting made headlines in February of 2020. So very recent. I feel like that might be the most recent story we've ever told on here.
Oh yeah.
So, and in February of 2020, this couple, they were visiting Mount Shasta, and they got a couple of pictures of this glowing orb-like shaped ship, kind of like basically a Tic Tac, glowing thing in the sky right above Mount Shasta. And these pictures went viral. They were like, what is that? Like, that's plain and simply a UFO. So I also don't have the picture pulled up for you, so sorry. But
I think I remember seeing that though.
Yeah, you probably did. Because apparently it was very, very poppin'. And so, yeah, many people believe that this, like, simply was UFO from an alien. So now what's actually even more interesting is that because it was so viral, the government came out and said that sadly and tragically, the glowing orb was not a UFO and that it actually was a weather balloon. Now, if you know anything about aliens or anything about the government, they always say that UFOs are weather balloons.
See, yeah. Why do they always say it's a weather balloon?
Literally, do you know what a weather balloon looks like? Not like a UFO. Okay? Not like a UFO.
Yeah.
It's just not the same thing. So, honestly, don't believe them. That was a UFO, in my opinion. So, let's see here. Okay. So one Mount Shasta resident who has apparently lived there his whole life, His name is Alan Stein, and he has been actually documenting all his personal encounters since literally he was a little boy. And he's lived in the city his whole life. Like, it's a really small town, like, around the mountain. But he's lived there his whole life. And so he has an entire book that he wrote called the Mount Shasta Sightings. And in it, he documents photos, dates, stories, and all kinds of research that he has of the UFO and alien life around the mountain. And it is over 650 pages long. And so, no, I did not read it because it's not free. But
yeah.
I would really love to read it. So, maybe one day.
Yeah, I kind of want to read it too.
Because I'm trying to know. Pictures. There's pictures, dates, stories. I just want to know. I really do want the book. So, might have to check that one out.
Okay, they're all other people's
yeah, like in the town. I think most of them are his, but I think that he did a little bit of outside sources too. But most of them are his. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see here. So, yeah, there are countless UFO sightings. This mountain, literally, pretty much every single day, there's a sighting of at least one thing. So, I mean, if you want to see some activity, man, you can go to this mountain. I personally would love to get abducted by aliens, but I'm a little bit scared of this mountain, honestly. Like, people keep disappearing. Like, I don't really want to disappear. I mean, they come back, I guess. Sometimes.
Why you say, "Oh, I want to be abducted," and then you don't want to disappear?
I want somebody to know that I'm abducted. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch me get abducted and you can be like, oh, okay, she's totally with the aliens, I'm fine with that.
What am I going to do? Get you back?
No, it's fine. As long as somebody knows. Like, because I just... But what... here's the thing. Here's the thing with me. I want to be abducted. And I'm not even scared of being abducted, but I'm scared of people not believing me. Like, if it were to ever happen. You know? Like, I don't want people to think I'm crazy.
So you want at least one person with you so they know.
Yeah.
Like, one person
so they know what's going on. And, like, if I do never come back, then, you know, at least somebody knows, like, the aliens got her.
But then, okay, if it was me and you together and then you get abducted and I don't, then people would just think that I did something to you.
Okay, guys, you hear here now. She didn't do it. Now you go and plan. No, just kidding. Oh. Okay, anyway, if Savannah says that I'm abducted by aliens, just believe her. Just believe her.
Yeah, believe me.
So the one thing that we do know for sure is that there are tunnels under this mountain. Confirmed there's tunnels. So that's, if nothing else, that's weird. Because, like, why? But we do also, you know, we've talked about other mountains that have been hollowed out and are used today for other things, like military purposes, like the one in Colorado. So, I mean, it's not completely even out of the realm of possibility, you know, that somebody is living inside this mountain doing some weird things.
I guess so. I guess people could live down there, or creatures, or I don't know, someone could live down there, but it's just, I don't know. That's just such a weird thought for me. But I guess
it's weird. But people already do live in the mountains. Like, literally inside of a mountain.
See,
it's hard to...
I'm a city person. I just don't get it.
I completely agree.
But, I mean, someone out there's like, I literally live in a mountain. So
no, literally. Like, I'm listening from inside of the mountain. But, yeah, that is really the legend of Mount Shasta. And honestly, I don't think it's the Lemurian people. I just think it's point blank. I think it's aliens. I think this might be like their headquarters, their little office space or something. I don't know. But I think it has everything to do with aliens.
Yeah, I mean, I think... See, from like all the sightings and stuff, there's definitely some sort of activity. And that boy disappearing. That's just weird.
Weird. It's weird. I don't know. It's creepy. It makes me gag. Don't like it. Yeah, and, you know, I don't like hiking either, so I really kind of just don't want to visit. I would maybe fly over it to see it.
Okay, well, if you want to be abducted, you need to go there, probably. So
I guess, but I'm, like, scared. Okay, the one part of that story that really scared me was the, like, 40s age man who said that this woman was, like, had unnaturally blue eyes and she was, like, 7 feet tall with long hair. in weird clothes. That is what scares me. I don't want to see,
Yeah.
like, one thing that I don't like is unnaturally blue eyes. They scare me so bad. So, like, if I woke up in a cave with a 7-foot tall woman with unnaturally blue eyes staring at me, like, I might just die right there on the spot. See, theoretically, I would love to get abducted, but I don't know if I could handle it.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't. Not even in a theory.
Got it. Well, you know, I guess we'll just have to see if the day comes or not for me. But
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
that
maybe
on
you,
that.
you might not even know. I don't know, because some
That's
people
a good point,
get
too.
taken and then they don't even know.
Listen, that's a good point too. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait till the day happens, and then I'll tell you guys all about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely go look on Instagram for the pics of this week. You're not going to want to miss them. And go rate and review us on Apple Podcast and Spotify, please. But yeah, that's all I really have for you guys today. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's it for today.
All right, well, I guess we will see you guys next week.
All right, cue the music.